We like to start every episode with a disclaimer that we are not professionals. Our conversations are solely based on our personal experiences, thoughts, and opinions. Nothing discussed here is meant to be taken as professional mental health or medical advice. If you have questions or need assistance, please seek the help of a licensed professional.
Discussions in this podcast may sometimes revolve around heavy material such as abuse, grooming, religious trauma, etc. Please listen with caution and prioritize your mental health first.
Welcome to Trauma Bondage, the podcast where we talk about trauma, kinks, and non-traditional lifestyles and relationships from a queer lens. We are your hosts, Brigitte
And Beth.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
How's it going?
We're lesbian vampires today, aren't we?
No, I'm giving off like lesbian, like janitor mechanic vibes today.
Kind of, but like...
And I'm here for it.
But you have a lacy black bra on
Thank you.
under it,
I
so...
know.
That's like a fantasy though. Like if you were it,
a mechanic with like a bustier
like,
on.
yeah, like underneath they have just like this fucking like $700 lingerie. Yeah, I feel like that's a fucking romance novel.
You and your romance novels, as
I
of
love
late.
them.
I know.
They're so good. So good.
It all started with a romance novel.
It
and
really
will probably
did.
end with one.
It's going to. It's going to. I'm going to be on my deathbed reading like dirty books.
Hell yeah. Well, what are we talking about today, dearest?
Oh, God. We're going to talk about, like, our man-eating eras. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
The times that we have dated men and...
We're venturing back to Bethany's man torture era and my Tales of Straight Brigitte era.
Yeah.
How unfortunate.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. It's fun, though. Honestly, like, I'm having to reach back into, I think, like, 7 years ago. History to even like talk about any of this stuff because I have not dated men in fucking forever.
Mine's been, I think the last time I was with a man in any like sexual manner was my freshman year of college.
Jesus.
I know.
Okay.
So it's
so
like
yours is longer.
Almost 10 years, almost a decade.
Oh my God.
I think. What year is it? Yeah. Wait. yeah, it's like a decade.
How old am I?
Where am I?
You just had a birthday. So
yeah.
Happy belated, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
We're getting older and spicier.
Yes.
Okay, so do you want to kick it off?
Was it 30, flirty, and dirty? Even though I'm 31.
Dirty,
like,
30, and flirty.
I'll take that.
Any year in your 30s is dirty and flirty. Yeah.
Flirty.
30s are like the dirtiest decade I have experienced.
Glorious.
So far.
I love
Amazing.
It's the best.
Amazing. And they say that your 40s gets even better.
Hey, I'll take it.
Women just continue to age like fine wine. Like life just gets better for us.
We love wine.
Especially if we're childless. No shame to children, but
by
like,
choice.
It is easier, yes. Yeah. Okay, so we should just start with we should start talking about our first crushes, like our first like boy crushes. Should we start there?
Sure.
Because I feel like that's like funny.
I was like, my first crush was a girl and that was my first kiss on a recess, but first boy crush was really young.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I'm going to name him and everything because everybody had a crush on him at my school.
Okay, you tell yours.
Yes. Yeah. Dustin Ellis. What a name.
Wait, why does that... Is he in Texas?
Yeah, absolutely. So
okay.
For your first boy crush?
No.
He was everybody's first boy crush. I doubt he'll ever listen to this. Even if he does, he's going to be like, yeah. Everybody had the biggest crush on him. He was like a tall boy growing up, very blonde, very cute, very sweet too.
Okay.
Like was just a nice dude. And so everybody had a crush on him. This is so embarrassing. But that is also when I first got into like masturbation. I distinctly have a memory of me in Hawaii on a trip with my family, touching myself and thinking about Dustin Ellis when I was like maybe 10.
Oh my God, Dustin really did it for you.
It was so embarrassing. I know.
Did he have like queer energy?
No, I think okay, so I have like this very specific type that I'm really, really into, and it's like the short hair, kind of sweet, but very masculine and like sporty.
Right.
Like, and that's what I love in women. I think I was more attracted to his masculinity than anything else. Yeah. And that's something that I'm like getting used to, is that like, am I attracted to you because like there's a TikTok on there. It's like, am I attracted to you because you're a man, or do I just like your masculinity?
Yeah.
I do not care about the genitalia. Looking back, on all of the times that like I have been or been interested in men, when I was fantasizing, quote unquote, I was not thinking about their genitalia at all.
No, I mean, who fantasizes about dicks? That's not normal, right?
Straight people? I don't know.
Gay men?
Gay men?
I'm like, straight women. I'm like, I don't hear a lot
You just
about
watch
that.
me inhale my hair and choke on my hair.
You just sucked it down your throat and spit it back out. We're really going back to your man era.
PTSD. Yeah, so that was mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine was a boy named Andy. Andy Stills, shout out. He still follows me on Instagram. He slid into my DMs the other day, actually, and responded to like a photo I had posted of like me in lingerie and was like, sometimes I just have to remind myself, like, damn, I dated that. And I was like, Andy, we were 9.
You didn't date this at all.
You didn't date
You
this.
dated the child version of it. It's not the same.
A child with like a fucking mullet that wore like red and black checkered dresses to church every fucking weekend. So like,
but you know he uses that as like a thing, like with other dudes. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I used to date that.
I
And
used
they're
to
all
date
like,
that.
oh damn man, you pulled. And it's like, no, like here's the actual photo. It's
You didn't
me with
pull
like
this.
4 teeth. Like
scrawny little 9-year-old. Anyways, I had a crush on him, but it was only because we had moved to a new church, and like I remember the first day I met him, I had like no interest at all. But the next weekend that we went to church, I met him. He like came up to me like in one of our classes and was like, I think you're really annoying, or like insulted me in like some way. And I was like, like that's so mean. Now I like you and I have to like make you like me. And so I had a crush on him, and then I did like everything I could to like make him like me. I would like flirt with him. I would like throw shit at him. I was always like very mean to boys that I liked.
Yeah.
It was like the whole
So did
thing.
you give in to the whole like boys who are bullying you must like you trope with that?
I don't know that I gave into it when they did it to me, but I did it to them.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
You,
Like I was the boy.
Turn the table.
Yeah. Yeah. I was
How
like,
interesting.
yeah. So I was like kind of mean to him, but then he asked me to a little dance, like a Valentine's Day dance that the church was having. And he literally looked at me and he goes, I used to think that you were really ugly and now I think you're pretty. And I want to take you to the Valentine's Day dance. And as a 9-year-old, I'm just like, my ego is both shattered and boosted at the same time. Like, how do I like get over this? So I went with him, and he gave me, I remember he had like a piece of gum when he like, his parents like picked me up to take me to this dance.
Mm-hmm.
He had like a piece of gum and he like split it in half and like gave me one half of it. And I like ate it. And we were just like sitting silently in the car, in like his parents' car, going to the dance, like chewing gum. That's like all I remember that night.
That's so weird.
It was
I love that.
I mean, I was meant to be a lesbian. I was never good at dating boys.
I love that.
But then like nothing really happened after that. And then I didn't have another crush on a boy until I was like 13. So that was like 4 years. And then they just like phased out of the existence in my head. And I was like, they're not real.
My history of dating men is so interesting.
Dive into it.
It's just, oh my God. It's just, I was like always a lesbian, and I really should have known that. And then also like the masculinity and like certain things like bodily traits that I was really into. Like I was such a shallow fucking asshole.
Same.
I still am, let's be honest. But like I have standards. Come on. So obviously like first crush, that was like a sweet little whatever thing. I dated a guy who was had multiple personalities at one point, and their other personality was like asylum, and they were a poet and all kinds of shit. Turns out that individual is now a trans woman.
Oh,
so like,
okay.
Was I a lesbian during that entire
Yes
relationship? I think yes, because like they've always been a woman at that point. And then I dated a hockey player in high school, washboard abs, bright blue eyes, also like knows how to dance and like all this kind of stuff. So it was like all the right qualities.
Right.
And just so cute. But like I was always into like really damaged people, which like tracks with how I was growing up. And he was like super, super emo. Not like externally. He was like very sporty and very popular and very smart, and like was the leader of the robotics club, which is why I was in the robotics club at one point, because like he was in there. I was good at it, but like he was in there. but was also like cutting himself at the same time. So like managing all of those emotions. And then I get to college and I'm still doing the same shit where I'm like sleeping around with whatever. We had I don't know if you had this at your school. It was like an online app where you could like post your secrets on it and like other people could see it. And like everybody was always posting about like how they ran into somebody or like they were really into someone. And it was like you would put the initials and like it was anonymous.
No, I don't know anything about
We had this at our school and oh my God, that's how like I pulled so many people because like we would all put this shit on there and we'd be like, oh, well, like you're interested. Let's go. Like
interesting.
So I was sleeping with guys from like the lacrosse teams from OU and which was great because they were all like super buff and tatted.
Yeah.
I was bored out of my fucking mind.
You were like aesthetically pleasing.
Every single guy I've dated or like slept with, love it.
Yeah.
There was another guy that I was with that just like I'm not joking, like monster dick, biggest fucking penis on earth. I've never seen larger and I don't think I ever will.
See, and that like would make some people excited, but when you just said monster dick, my entire body like
there is such a thing as too big.
Yeah.
There is absolutely such a thing as too big. Okay. Monster dick. Also now a trans woman. Right? I know.
Oh my God.
So I was like, okay, lesbian. And this is all during freshman year when I'm still like, I'm straight. Like, stuff like that. The last guy that I like slept with before coming out, God bless his soul, super Christian dude, runs his own band, like lead singer, pompous as fuck. Just so...
Aren't they
self-indulging all? Like just but like fun. He's the only one I don't recommend this. He's the only dude I ever used like condoms with. Like he's the only one I ever used protection with because he was adamant about it because he was like, I do not want to get anybody pregnant, and he was like, I am very anti-abortion, like I'm not going to do any of that. And I was like, okay, that's fair, cool, whatever. Slept with him a few times. We worked together on shows at school, and that's how we found each other, was through that app, like of the telling secrets and stuff like
crazy.
That. And I gave him a complex because I came out that summer, right? And one of my good friends, she was like, oh yeah, like he is convinced that he turned you gay to this day.
I feel like we said this in a previous episode, but you don't have that power.
You don't have
worry.
that power. You're not that special. But to this day is convinced that he like was so bad that he turned me gay.
Oh no.
And it's so funny because I ran into him on the streets of New York City like years later, knowing this, and you could see the panic in his fucking eyes. And he's also with a girl who I was assuming was his fiance at the time. She had the ring and everything like that. And I was like, oh hey, like totally chill, like cool, like because I'm not weird about it. Completely weird. And I'm watching this girl watching him panic and getting so amused by it because I'm pretty sure he told her that there was somebody in his life that he had like turned gay. And he was like, this is the one I was telling you about. And I was just like, it's like you poor motherfucker. Like, no,
don't flatter yourself.
Don't flatter yourself. Like, God bless.
But also it's like nobody wants to live with the like fear of being like, oh, maybe I like turned them gay. So it's like, did you tell him that he didn't, or did you just let it?
I'm just gonna let him
let it
think about it, pray about it. I don't know. Like that's on you, honey. Yeah. That's not on me to fix. Like you didn't turn me gay. You don't have that power. Nobody does. But yeah,
that's so funny.
And that's just like a high level overview. That doesn't include like all the other people that I was, hooking up with or anything like that. But just wild.
I have a really weird like track record, I guess, with men. Yeah. Like my friends will even tell you, like the people that have known me since I was young will be like, we were so confused by you like the entire time because like you were so like cruel to like these men that liked you, and obviously at the time like I didn't know why, and like there were so many guys that were
Black
like
Widow man eater.
Yeah, literally. And I was like, you know how like people try to pretend like they're like unaffected by somebody or whatever. I just thought that's how I was in relationships. I thought I just like did not care at all. And then I started dating women and I was like, oh my God, I care too much. But so my first boyfriend was when I was 16. Well, I had like some dalliances with this guy that I was next door neighbors to when I was like, I think I was 14. I might have been 13 when I met him. I can't remember. Between the ages of like 13 and 15. And he was like the first guy that I experimented with like sexually. Like made out with him under the baptistry in church and just did a bunch of random like small things with him.
I'm so glad yours was normal. Mine was not.
He was This is the story of like our lives.
Never normal.
He was my first kiss, and when I look back at my history of dating men, I feel like I noticed that like the only reason, like the guys that I actually liked, the only reason I liked them were like things that were like toxic. So like for him, he had a girlfriend and then broke up with her, and I like wanted to like steal him away from this girl because I hated her. She was like such a bitch. And so it was like a competition thing. I think at that point it was more of like it was a game. Yeah, not a competition.
Chase,
it was a game.
As opposed to want.
It was always like the unavailable guys. That's always what I went for, because subconsciously I was like, I don't actually want to be with you. And this is fun for me to like try to see if I can like do this, which is so toxic. Don't do this. I was fucking 14. Okay. So I like talked to him for a little bit, didn't actually date him, and then got my first boyfriend when I went to Christian school, like the first year. And nicest guy ever, like such a sweet guy. And he was like on the basketball team, like everyone thought he was so cute. He was like 2 years older than me, and he asked me to be his girlfriend. And I remember every time he would like try to hold my hand or like touch me in any way, I would get the most insane level of ick that like I've ever had. And I was like, what is wrong with me? I was like, this is so confusing. He's the one that I threw the lizard in his face.
Lesbianism.
I'm like, gay. But yeah, he like ended up like I like made him confess like his like deepest, darkest secret to me over Facebook Messenger.
What was it?
Do you want me to actually say?
I don't know. Was it like stupid?
I mean, no, it's kind of funny. Okay. He told me that he liked it when girls farted on him. So I broke up with him the next day. I had worked for like 3 hours to get him to spill the secret. And he wouldn't because he was so embarrassed.
That was his deepest, darkest secret?
It was like,
what a life.
He was like, I don't want to tell you. And I was like, you can trust me. Like, just tell me. And then
he broke up with him and threw a lizard in his fucking face over a fart.
Because I was like, that's so weird. Like, I have the ick. And so I like told him the next day, I was like, I think I just see you as like more of a friend. And like, I gave him a hug. And then that was it.
Oh my God.
It lasted like two months maybe.
Oh my God. Sorry, that whole thing, you made me think about my first kiss and my first sexual experiences with somebody and stuff like that. Completely different. I'm so glad yours are normal.
Yeah, I don't feel like I had a lot of bad experiences with boys until I was older. Like when I was in college, that's when the shit started happening. That was like sketchy.
Oh my God.
But in high school, I
was a fucking idiot, dude.
Yeah.
Well, my first kiss was just embarrassing.
What happened?
Embarrassing. My first kiss was a dare at a party, an after party for a show.
Okay. Wait, how old were you?
14.
Okay. I think I was 15 or 16.
Probably 14.
With a guy.
Yeah, 14 or 15.
But you had kissed girls like prior, right?
Yes.
Okay, same.
And other, like, well, not other guys, but like, yes, girls prior. Playground?
Yeah.
Sure.
Exactly.
But like, I don't really count that because I was like a tiny child.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, this is like when I was actually like, oh, I'm interested in people in general. No, it was a dare. We had flirted the whole time throughout the entire course of the show. So, like, everybody knew we kind of liked each other, which is why we got dared to kiss each other. Mm-hmm. But I had never kissed anyone. And he was a year older. I figure he had. I don't really know. But I remember us kissing and me being like, I have this really great plan to get him to kiss me again. And it was basically insulting him.
You did the same shit I did.
Yes, except I stopped there where I just said, I was like, oh, that was really bad. What I was trying to finish was, we should try again, but I panicked and didn't say the second half of the sentence. So he was just pissed at me for the whole rest of the night. And so, like, that never became a thing. So, like, I'm so sorry. that I did that to you.
Was it not
I was
bad?
just like non-gay, gay panicking. What?
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't that bad. It was okay, but like it could have been better.
My first kiss, the guy that I kissed told me not to kiss like that unless I wanted to have sex. That's literally the first thing he said to me, and I was like,
but it wasn't bad.
Is that good or bad? I don't know.
It's
okay.
Both.
Well, we both had like okay first kisses.
Sexual experiences. The first like really getting into that was also when I would skip school to go home with him, but we would also like fuck around on the school campus.
Okay.
Because he was like the ROTC kid that was also a fallen angel.
I was going to say, is he the knife play guy?
He's the fallen angel dude that was like swords and shit like that. Like I could have been
really
murdered.
picked up the delusional ones.
Oh, I know. And then after that, I was also talking to people online. So I was on a like dating site, like doing like beta testing for a dating site, which I don't even remember what it's called anymore. I've met some really cool people on it that are like friends to this day. And then I met some guys on it that like I talked to that were like in England. So I was like dating guys in England for a while online. And then there was this one guy, which looking back, like he was much older. This is the one that like came and picked me up from school and took me to lunch. The one that like you're so glad that he wasn't fucking Jeffrey Dahmer and like serial because I would be gone forever. I didn't tell anybody where I was going, stuff like that. He made me make CDs. It was cute. I was pissed about it at the time because I was like, I wanted flowers, but like I was just such a brat. But like he took me and got a meal, and fucked around, and dropped me back off at school. Okay. Like and after that, I was like, I don't really want to date you because you made me make CD. I wanted old flowers. I don't want to deal with that. Yeah. But then I was also doing this is where like the Craigslist shit comes in. Sorry, Rachel. Here we go. Annoyed at me for all of this. I'm so stupid. Don't do this shit, guys. Don't be dumb.
Hopefully everyone listening is old enough to know not to do this shit.
Yes, and don't let your children do this. Monitor them better, I guess. No, this is where it was kind of fun because I was bullied severely in school because I didn't really fit in with anybody. And all of the girls that I went to school with were like the very popular, very rich girls. The ones I played volleyball with, for the most part, were like that as well. So like I wasn't really part of the group. I wasn't part of the crew, anything like that. These are also all of the parents that were part of the fucking swingers group that were like pulling me into it. And I remember this one girl in particular was just an absolute motherfucking dick to me on a regular basis. Like to the point where I had a locker underneath hers at one point, which of course being the bottom locker was just like the worst thing on earth, right? But I had a locker underneath hers. And if I was like taking too long or like she walked up and I was in her way getting my books out, she would just slam my locker shut. Right?
People are
raging bitch.
So
raging bitch. She's no longer cute. So like
karma's bitch.
But yeah, just an asshole of a person. And I remember this is during my Craigslist phase where I was being a dumbass and I was responding to Craigslist personal ads like man for woman, blah blah blah, or like younger woman. And I was honest like about my age during that time frame, which like 17 is like, you know, jailbait. That's a whole fucking thing.
Too young.
And I remember I responded to one of them and I show up to the thing, and this is very like Euphoria-esque if you've watched Euphoria.
Yeah, no,
like,
I have.
She meets up with the dad. It was her fucking dad. So
okay,
karma came through. Fuck
Did you
your
fuck
dad.
him?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I love that. I hope she's listening to this somehow.
I had to.
You fucked her dad and now she's not cute.
Yeah. Karma really came through.
Don't slam lockers in people's faces.
Don't bully people, guys.
Don't be a bully.
You'll get ugly and your dad will get fucked by the person that you're bullying. So maybe rethink your life choices.
That's my favorite. I love that you did that. I know you didn't intentionally do it, but then once you realized, you were like, oh fuck yeah. I know you were like,
yeah,
I'm doing this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's so interesting. We've talked about this before. Like I've never actually like technically had sex with a man. And the excuse that I used was like, oh, well, like either A, I don't want to get pregnant, or B, like I'm saving myself for marriage because I was raised in like purity culture, like all that shit. But it wasn't because I actually like believed that. It was because I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Like it was like there was something in me that was like, I just really don't want to. And this is a really good way for me to like get out of it. But I will admit I was like the worst fucking tease. Like, The worst.
Oh, I bet.
The worst.
I was told that too by a number.
Yeah.
I was like, well.
I even had some of my friends, like my girlfriends. Oh my God, I'll tell you like a really funny story just to kind of show you how bad it was.
I was a tease just for giving blowjobs.
What do you mean?
That's what I was told. I was a tease. They would call me a tease because I would like give them a blowjob, but like I wouldn't sleep with them.
Okay.
I'm like, you got off either way, honey.
I was going to say.
In the back of Kung Fu Panda in the movie theater.
Beggars can't be choosers. So
I can't watch that movie to this day.
I would like always try to date guys, try to talk to guys. And there was a time like in my early 20s when I was like, I was kind of talking to this one guy who like lived in my apartment complex. Mm-hmm. And he was like really sweet and like really nice and just like everything I should like be attracted to and want, but I just really was not like feeling it. And I always did the thing to myself where I was like, maybe if you like take more time, you'll like become attracted. You'll like grow attraction. Cause I just didn't know. I was like, I don't know how this is going to go.
I get that.
So I have him over to the apartment one night. My roommate is there who we had hooked up before, a woman. And she like thought he was cute, but like there was nothing like really like supposed to happen that night. So then we do what we do when we're in our 20s and we decide to like put on lingerie and like give him a lap dance. I don't know if y'all did this when you were in your 20s, but that's what I did when I was in my early 20s. I've never
heard of that as the thing when you do that in your 20s. But
that was just what we did. And then he was like clearly being like, he wanted to fuck me. And I pulled her to the side and I was like, I really don't want to have sex with him. Like, I'm not going to. And she was like, well, we're already in this situation. Like, he thinks we're going to have a threesome with him. I'm like, I'll do other stuff, but like, I'm not going to have sex with him. And she was like, do I have to take dick for you? And I was like, yes please. I was like, yes,
take one for the team, please.
So she did. She literally did. And the next day she was like, bitch, you better never question my friendship. I took dick for you last night. And
okay. Like, so okay. We've had multiple episodes where you're like, oh, I've never slept with a man, but like you've been in sexual circumstances.
Yeah.
What is your definition for sex with someone?
Now,
because to me it's like anything goes.
Now it's anything. Like if I were to redefine it now, it's like, yes, I've like had sex with men, because it's like, I don't think like a penis and a vagina is the only thing that like constitutes like real sex.
Yeah.
But based on like society's like definition of like what a gold star is or like what sex is, technically no, a dick has never been inside my vagina.
Yeah. Penetration.
That's it.
Okay.
But like everything else, yes, I've done. And like and honestly, I will say like not all of my experiences with men have been negative. Like,
oh yeah, no.
We've talked about this before where like sexuality is a spectrum. Like even if you identify as a lesbian and like 99.9% of the time you're attracted to women, like there are certain instances where I can look back. Like the first guy that I was like really into in my I think I was like 19 when I met him. I actually had sexual attraction with him. And like the physical side of things was really good with him.
That's the thing. So, is that like I've talked about this where I'm like, oh, I never actually like got off with any of them.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I wasn't turned on by them.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean I didn't enjoy the sexual experience and like I enjoyed getting them off.
Yeah.
Like it just didn't work for me.
Exactly. That was how it was for me with this guy. I was on and off with this guy for 3 years, and like the thing that I liked about him, to your point earlier about masculinity, is like his energy was extremely masculine and dominant sexually. And now I just know that I like that. Like that's what I like. I don't think I liked anything about his personality or anything like that. Like he was kind of a dick. He was a baseball player that like was up his friends' asses more than he ever cared about like having a girlfriend. Mm-hmm. But like sexually, like was I turned on in those situations? Yes. Because like his energy is what I now like in women too.
Right.
So it's like, it's such a gray area sometimes. It's like, yes, you identify as a lesbian, but does that mean like a man has never like put you in like that headspace? No, that does not have to mean that. And I want to like break that stigma down a little bit, because it's like, yeah, like we're lesbians sitting here talking about our experiences with men, but like doesn't mean that like they've all been bad.
It doesn't mean they've all been bad, but it also doesn't mean that we would do it again.
Exactly.
Just because we
exactly.
have.
Exactly.
That's what drives me, I think, fucking insane. One, when you're gay in general and you're like, oh, hey, like I'm a lesbian. They're like, oh, well, you just haven't had the right one yet. It's like, no, I've been with plenty of men.
Yeah.
Well, then you're not really gay.
Yeah.
Bitch, yes, I am.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I can't win either way, because if you say, well, I like you're a gold star, like I don't like I've never slept with a man. Well, how do you know that you don't like dick then?
Exactly.
Right? Like you cannot win.
Yeah, exactly. Because this is also something I say, like when straight women like say like, oh, that's great for you, but I could just like never live without dick. I'm like, you're not straight if you reduce men down to like their literal penis inside you. Yes. Like if that's all you like about them, you're not straight, honey.
Not really. Oh my God.
So, and vice versa, it's like just because you haven't had that does not mean that you don't know that you're gay or not. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't, it's about attraction. It's about how you feel with that person. For me too, I don't think I've ever said this on the podcast, but I like consider myself like sometimes I can be sexually attracted to men still, but never emotionally attracted.
Yes.
So the emotional connection for me with men has literally never been there once in my life. I've never been able to get to like a place with them where I felt like I wanted romance or anything like that.
That just happened to me last weekend because I went to go get a new tattoo. Yeah. And my tattoo artist, like, we flirted the whole fucking time.
Oh, you told me about this guy.
Like 6'3", covered in tattoos, ginger, so cute. Like, he is exactly what my type would have been had I been a straight woman about, 12 years ago. And I was like, man, if I had an ounce of straightness in me right now, I would be all over
You go for it. Yeah.
But like, nada. Not a lick. Nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing downtown.
It's so crazy because it's like, and I even had like that experience this weekend, which I'll tell you more about in my spicy trauma, but my partner and I went to a drag show and like there was like a male dance performance afterwards and I got like a lap dance from a couple of different men and one of them I was like, ooh, like he's cute. Like I felt like a sexual energy between us when he was dancing on me. Does that mean that like I want to date him or like I want to like fuck him or whatever? It's like, no, like I'm gay, but like it's like something energies. you can still feel. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where it gets a little complicated with labels because like a lot of people would consider that pansexual. Yeah. But, and we could probably both call ourselves pansexual if we wanted to.
I think I'm more like polysexual.
Interesting. Can you explain what that means?
So,
I haven't heard that term.
Yeah, it's something I was learning about a little bit more lately because we love new labels and all kinds of shit that we're trying to figure out. But polysexual, so it's, because pansexual is like anyone. Yeah. Anyone's on the board, any genitalia, anything like that. I really am not interested in the male genitalia of any form. So like for me, it's like women, NBs, and trans men. Down. So like polysexual. Okay. Like it's still the genitalia is the one I'm still really
dictates,
like, it still dictates
a lot of your attraction.
Yes.
Okay. I think I'm the opposite. Yeah. I think I'm 100% about energy and like
then you're pan. Like probably.
Yeah. I think pansexual is a label that would fit me, but I feel way more comfortable calling myself a lesbian. Me too, because the emotional connection for me. Yeah. It's never there.
Of the time is always with a woman.
Exactly. So. And I feel like for me, like just going back to dating history, I've had experiences where like the last guy that I like tried to like date, he was perfect. Like physically, he was perfect. Yep. He had an amazing job. He was so nice. On our first date, he asked me like what if I knew what my love languages were. Oh. And like told me he was reading the book.
Asked you that?
He had 2 cats. He was a cat dad. Oh. He was like, he worked in like aviation. Like he was literally perfect. And like, I felt nothing. Like I felt nothing. It was like, it was a moment where I was like, okay, this is not working for me. Like I need to stop trying to do this when it's just not working for me. And like shortly after I dated like the first girl that I dated casually and like immediately I was invested. I wanted to be around her. Yeah. Like it's like if you ask me if I want like a 5-star steak dinner versus McDonald's, I'm gonna say the 5-star steak dinner every time. And that's how like sexually and emotionally I perceive men and women. Like that's how it works for me. It's not like if I wasn't starving, I wouldn't eat McDonald's.
Yeah.
That was my only option.
I know, we love chicken nuggies here, but no. That's how I was when I first like had my first girlfriend and like actually was into a woman. I was like, it wasn't just the sexual chemistry there. Like that obviously was a whole other world blown wide open. But like it was just this emotional connection. Like I couldn't shake it. Yeah. I couldn't run from it. And I was like, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Like that fairy tale love feeling that we're told about all the time. Like I never felt it. I was like, something's wrong with me. I am devoid of human emotion. I just needed a woman.
And you know what's crazy is I've had this conversation with a lot of my lesbian friends, and a lot of them relate to this. It's like, it's not that you feel like absolutely nothing ever at all in your entire life with men. It's that through your journey of dating men and women, you have realized like, okay, one of these things works in all areas and one of them doesn't. And like that's where labels come in and help you identify. Yeah. And also I want to say too, labels can change based on like where you're at in your life. Like it doesn't mean that you were born different than you thought you were. It just means there might be new parts of yourself that you haven't discovered that come out later.
That's why like I know our society is very like stuck on labels because we need to be able to figure out how to identify something. I don't really like them. Yeah. Because like I said, it's like, oh, like polysexual, that's a new one that I'm kind of figuring out and kind of dealing with. But also like in my past, like it has happened where I was sexually attracted to a guy and he had all the right energy and like, but it was like a little bit more feminine energy as well. So like there was something about him where I was like, I would actually be turned on by him, but I never slept with him. So I don't really know if that would have worked or not. But like, there's the question mark.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I feel like now anytime I have like the incidental attraction to a man, it's like a man who gives off such queer energy that like they're almost a woman. They're like a lesbian. Yeah. Like there's a guy that works at a bar in Oakland that he's definitely gay. He works at like a gay male bar. And like every time I go in, he has his nails painted black and he's wearing a black leather body harness and he's got tattoos and he's like ripped. He's wearing eyeliner.
Fuck it, yes.
I'm like, I will take you to the bathroom right now.
I'm sorry. I love that.
Yeah, but I'm like, it's like that where I'm like, okay, yes, am I still a lesbian? Absolutely. But do I feel this in this moment? Absolutely. Does that mean I want to be in a relationship with this person?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
You know what's so funny though? My sister, the gay one, also had a similar situation like you did with being on a date with like a perfect man. Really? And realizing like there's nothing. And this is how I think we kind of knew that she was gay growing up too. Like, because we all kind of knew, but we were just like, she's going to tell us whenever she tells us. Oblivious to men hitting on her. She was constantly having like doctors and surgeons and pilots and like the most beautiful men coming out of the woodwork because she's very pretty, like trying to hit on her and stuff like that. And she'd be like, haha, like would be friendly and like move along with her life. And I'd always be like, they just hit on you. Like they were interested. And she's like, oh, what? What are you talking about? So apparently she was in Prague and she was out doing what she does, exploring the city and stuff like that, and runs into this guy out there. And I guess he's just like, hey, like you, like they hit it off. They were talking, they were having coffee, and he was like, why don't we go get dinner together? And she was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it a whirl. This is also the sister that struggled with her sexuality. Right. So like, if I were in this situation where this beautiful, clearly like well-to-do man who's worldly, stuff like that, wants to take me to dinner, I wouldn't say no. No, I would be like, yeah, let's go. Like, let's go. See how you feel. Out. Does that, goes to dinner, absolutely hits it off. Like everything's great, everything's wonderful. They go and like walk over this beautiful bridge and lights and stuff like at night and stuff like that. And he's gonna kiss her, and she let him kiss her. And she was telling me about this story, and she was like, I realized that as soon as I like was done with the kiss, like I felt nothing, like I was not interested. This bitch had a date with the like inheritor of the Lindt Lindor chocolate company.
Like the chocolate?
Yes.
Fuck the money. That chocolate is everything.
I know! And it's her favorite chocolate too.
Oh my God!
And I was just like, that should tell you something, that like sexuality is not a fucking choice.
It's not a fucking choice. If you gave up a lifelong subscription
of
to
your favorite
Lindt
chocolate,
it's not a choice.
It's not a choice. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so crazy because it's like the way that I have felt with women, like it so far exceeds in every area the way that I've ever felt with men, that it's like, it's just not even worth like revisiting. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where it's like, could I maybe find one man out there in the world that like made me like happy? Maybe. I don't know. But why would I do that when like 99% of the time, like every woman I come across is more interesting and attractive and beautiful to me.
Yeah.
Like, and sexuality, like, and that's why people say it's on a spectrum, because it's like, it is not black and white.
You could fall very heavily to one side or fall very heavily to the other side. It's like women say, oh, I can't live without dick. Like, okay. So you might be like bisexual or whatever,
right.
but like you still like something somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's very few people I come across that like are like a 0 on the Kinsey scale or a 6 on the Kinsey
100%.
scale. Like I'm so gay or I'm not gay at all.
Yeah.
So like my other sister is one of those. Like she's 0.
Yeah.
Straight as a board. She wishes she were gay sometimes.
I have one friend in my life that's like that I'm like genuinely like I think that she is like 100% straight. Every other person that I know, I'm like, you're a little sometimes.
A little ding.
We need a sound effect.
Yeah.
Anytime we do something really gay, and then just sparkles fly up everywhere.
Rainbows everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
we'll just look at each other. We go.
You just gave me so much work in it.
Sorry, Wolfie.
Not sorry. Tell me about like the whole Gold Star thing for you.
Yeah.
And what that's like.
Like how I feel about it?
Because Gold Star lesbian is one, just so fucking controversial.
Yeah.
And also people are I already know people are going to come out of the woodwork and be like, well, you've technically had sex with a man. Therefore you are not a Gold Star.
Here's the thing. I don't really give a fuck about that label. I don't care if I have it or not. Like
it's not a special label. You're not special.
No, it's not something that I'm like, I'm a Gold Star, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't care. It's just something other people have referred to me as. So it's like, yes, do I technically fall into that category? Yes. But do I care if somebody were to question it and be like, you're not? No. I would be like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't impact the way that I see my past, present, or future. Like, it just doesn't. Here's the thing. I don't feel like consensual sexual experiences should necessarily like shape how you view yourself, like how many you've had, how little you've had, anything like that.
Or
it's
how
like
other people view you.
Or how other people view you. It's like I'm still the same person, regardless of like the facts that you know about my sexuality or not. I'm still me.
We've all had different experiences.
Exactly.
All of our lives are different. So just like suck it up and deal. Who cares?
I will say though, it is extremely hard for me sometimes because I'm often questioned about it. Like if I ever say that I've never technically had sex with a man, like people will straight up tell me that I'm lying. I didn't tell the person I dated for 5 years, I did not tell them until 2 years into our relationship after we were living together that I had never had sex with a man.
Wow.
And I told them at like 3 a.m. drunk because I like couldn't get up the courage to tell them because I was so scared that they wouldn't believe me and like that they would just be like, you're lying to I don't know. I thought I would get like a negative reaction or something.
Because you always have.
Exactly. And so I just didn't say anything. And finally, when I told them, they were like, wait, what the fuck? Like they were just very like shocked.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the reaction I get every time because I think I have said this before, but it's like the way that I present, you wouldn't think that. But it's just true. Like, it just is what it is. So it does piss me off when people question me because I'm like, there's no reason to lie about that. Like, that's just my experience and, like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, it's interesting. I have a friend who no longer believes this. I will say that. But, like, the whole penetration thing, they were like, well, if you are a lesbian and you like getting strapped, then why wouldn't you just have a dick? Right? Exactly my reaction. That face right there. They do not.
How long do you have?
They do not believe this anymore.
Okay.
But they used to. Like, they had a really hard time with it. They were like, I'm super gay. They're mask as well. And they were like, I was not into like the use of toys or dildos or strap-ons or anything.
That sounds like an insecurity
nature
to me.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
And they're pretty on board with that as well. But like, they're like, why wouldn't you just have a dick? And I'm like, completely different things. Like, I've had my fair share of dicks and I've had my fair share of dildos, and I can tell you which one is superior in my book.
Right. And it's also about like that completely discounts the entire like fact that who is dicking you down or using the strap matters.
Yep.
Like, who's the person behind it? Like,
attached to?
Who is attached to it?
Who
like,
is it attached to?
Yeah, that is what matters. That's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
It doesn't matter what kind it is.
No.
Prosthetic or not.
Well, that's why whenever straight women are like, I couldn't live without dick, I'm like, ooh, that's a little fruity of you, because I'm like,
you can go pick yours out if you want.
Exactly.
At the store.
I'm like, if you don't care who's
Color,
attached to it,
shape,
do you actually
size.
like men?
You can get ones that look like tentacles.
Yeah.
You can go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. People have some wild ideas about sexuality. Tell you what.
Yeah.
I think it's just, here's the thing. I think it's something that like, I mean, we're both like in our 30s. We've had a lot of time to like figure this stuff out, but we've also been like actively exploring this stuff for ourselves because we had to.
Oh,
we had to.
long ass time.
For a long time. Because it's like when you're gay, you don't have a choice but to like explore your sexuality and figure out what things mean. And like if you're not, like a lot of times it's like, who's even like questioning this stuff? It's just you take it as like, this is the status quo. This is what we're doing.
Yeah. I mean, part of mine is like my queerness, but also just like the shit that I grew up with and the like the lack of love and like the lack of seeing good relationships or having conversations around sex, or like the shit with my mom of like sexual assault's a rite of passage, or
there's a lot
like,
of trauma.
Like there's a lot of trauma there. So like I've just been exploring it forever. Like to me, it's never been this weird thing, but at the same time, it is. I knew it was because nobody else was talking about it. So
yeah, I feel like I started the journey of exploring it when I was like 24, 25, like when I came out.
Yeah.
And like there's been a lot of like, I've gone back and forth on labels a lot since then because I've told you this before, like I came out as bisexual. I know you did too in the beginning. And then I was like, okay, I'm a lesbian. And then a couple of years ago, like a year and a half ago, I told my partner at the time, I was like, I think I might be pansexual because like I'm more attracted to energy, which I still kind of lean into that. But I'm like, I decided I'm like lesbian as a label fits more because like I only ever see myself with non-binary people and women as far as like relationships
it's
go.
so interesting. I don't even tell people, I'm like, oh, I'm a lesbian. I'm like, I'm gay.
Yeah.
I just say I'm gay.
You say
like,
you're gay.
Like, and I could say queer, but like, I feel like that's a little bit different as well. But like, I don't like the labels. I just say I'm gay.
You know what's interesting? I don't know why I have a hard time with, like, I say I'm gay sometimes, but like, for some reason that word makes me feel not invalidated, but it makes me feel like more masculine than I feel on the inside. Like lesbian feels very like feminine and powerful to me.
And I think that's why I don't like it.
I think that's why I like it.
Because I don't like the femininity part. Like I like that I'm girly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like internally, I do not feel very feminine. I feel very masculine.
Yeah.
So
you're a dom femme.
Yeah.
Which I am too, but
you're like more femme. Of the dom
I
side.
lean into the hyper femininity, like this strong femininity side
I
of things.
fluctuate.
Yeah.
Like even just like externally. Like I'm wearing this. Like this isn't super femme, but like this is like, you know?
You're kind of sporty. You're like a sporty girl. You grew up playing sports, all of that.
Sporty Spice was gay. I just wanted to be
sense. Her. But I think this literal conversation is why labels like make sense too, because it's like they help us identify in ways that feel like true to us on the inside. And that's even like the whole conversation about like pronouns, like why those are important, like because words matter and they mean something and they might mean something different to every person, but like the way that you use them in relation to yourself can like really help you figure out your place in the world. But yeah, it's crazy shit. I feel like we just went down a rabbit hole.
We did. I don't know how we got here. But
I don't either.
I've been going down lots of rabbit holes lately, Bethany, as we know.
I'm just going to start calling you Alice.
Thank you.
Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Pussyland. Can I put that on a t-shirt too?
Yeah. There's even a rabbit. It's a fucking dildo.
It's the vibrator.
The vibrator. Yeah.
Wait, that's a great merch idea.
The rabbit?
I love how many merch ideas we come up with during recording our episodes.
Do you have a rabbit?
Not the brand, no.
Oh, I got a free one.
Do you want to give it to me?
No, I've used it. I'm not giving it to you.
You looked at me like you wanted me to have it.
No.
Like, do you have one? I have one.
I have one. They're great. They're funny.
What do they look like?
A literal rabbit.
Like an actual
holding
rabbit.
on to like the penis, and the ears are long, and that's what tickles your clit.
Wait. I do have one. It's black. It's the 50 Shades of Grey version. I forgot about it.
Mine is hot pink.
I don't like it because the ears stab you in the clit.
Because they're too long.
Yes.
Yeah.
I literally
are
am
yours
like,
hard?
yes.
Oh, mine are like silicone. They're like soft.
No, mine are. I'll show it to you after this. They're like
Please do.
actually hard.
Oh my God.
And like because it's a vibrating dildo. So like when I'm using it, I like for someone to like actually fuck me with it. But every time they push it in,
like,
the ears stab your clit.
It looks like you're gonna stab somebody. Psycho.
I was trying not to get too close to like your actual vagina when I was doing it.
That's
but
fine. You've been
here
close
we are.
enough.
Here we are. Anyways, I really need to talk to the company that made that and be like, listen, they hurt.
Clearly a man made it.
They hurt. I put my hand over whenever I'm using it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Anyways.
Oh my God.
I have a rabbit now that I think about it. Yeah. Are we ready for spicy
Do you have
trauma?
anything else? Yeah. Or should we go straight into spicy trauma?
No, I think we should go into spicy trauma.
Okay. I have one in mind. This is more so, I've talked about my sisters a little bit in this episode.
Yeah.
And my poor older sister, one, because she like is helping out with this podcast and gets to hear like every fucking thing because our producer is my sister's boyfriend. And
keep it in the family, baby.
Keep it in the family. But she gets to hear all the shit, which like not all of this did she already know, but she knew a lot of it because like we lived together, like outside of college, like we lived together for quite a while. And we've talked about all kinds of shit, like the whole like getting yourself to orgasm mentally and shit like that. Like we know more about each other than probably most siblings actually do in that state. But so she's learning things. But I always laugh about this because I have an acting degree and I can use it when I need to, i.e. like when I'm faking it.
When you're faking an orgasm.
Which luckily I haven't had to do in quite some time. But I had when I was living with her in Denton, I had this ex, and like one of the first times we slept together, I put on a fucking show for this girl. And my sister, my poor sister, was down the hallway.
Oh no.
Listening to the whole thing.
Oh no. Was she just like
traumatized?
Earplugs?
No.
Pillow overhead.
Pillow overhead. She was like, I put music on and I was like closing my ears and just like, la 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 la. She was like,
oh my God.
Absolutely mortified. So she heard like everything and stuff like that. And she was like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah, that was all fake. And she was like, that was fake? And I was like, yeah, that was just a show. Like the girl was fine, but like it wasn't great. It was all right. And I ended up being in a relationship with her for like a year and a half. Like it was okay. She was all right.
Did you actually ever end up coming?
Yeah.
Okay.
A few times. But it was just during that time, it was like one of the first times and I put on a show. Like,
do you usually not come the first time you sleep with somebody?
Oh, no.
I don't either.
No, I do.
Oh, you do?
It depends on the person.
Okay. I usually don't.
It depends on how good they are, honestly.
Yeah.
I can be attracted to somebody and want to, but like if they can't get their shit together.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Mine is literally like the key for me is just like do the same thing consistently in the right way for a long enough time. It's that simple.
There are some people where like they touch me and it happens. Like
really?
It depends on how like what I've been telling you. Likely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wish I was that way.
So
I'm not that way.
It's just one of those things. It really depends on the person. It depends on how attracted to them.
Yeah.
Like how physically and sexually and emotionally attracted. If you have the trifecta of physical, sexual, like emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's true for
literally,
me too.
Figuratively.
I think that's true for me too. I just like have not had that very often where it's like the three combined like are all there like 100%.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time like we're derailing a little bit, but
That's
whatever.
fine. That's what we do.
I have a really hard time being like in the moment, like in my body the first time because I'm so focused on like giving them a good time.
I can
like
do
I'm
both.
very like I'm like I can fucking like put on a show for you. I'm gonna do that the first time, and it takes me out of my head a lot of times, or it puts me in my head. in a way where I'm like, I'm not really focused on like what I'm feeling. The exception to that is like the person I'm dating now. Like the first time I was like, go off.
I have a question, because obviously like our sexual experiences may be different. Is that with me, I'm very much the bottom. Like I'm getting topped in those scenarios. So like I don't really have to think too much about exactly. Yeah. So you're actually putting like a lot more mental like I do a little bit of both, because like I'll switch within it, but like for the most part I'm taking.
Well, the first time I sleep with somebody, I'm usually not bottoming, because
I'm always bottoming.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm gonna do this.
I like to throw in surprises later.
That's so funny. So that actually is a really great point, because the person I'm with now, I bottomed the first time I was with them, because they are like a top, and they were like, no, like I'm doing this. And I was like, okay, like if you're actually a top, like show me what you can do. And then I was able to actually orgasm. But then with other people, like random hookups, like I'm always in control.
How fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my spicy trauma. My sister can probably tell the difference between real orgasms and fake orgasms, or orgasms that come out of my mouth. So
I love that.
Sorry, Rachel.
For you, not for her.
Not for her.
Not for her. That's super traumatic. Mine, speaking of men, is going to be about an experience that we had with a man this weekend. So my partner and
we Bethany, our partner, not me.
Not us. We've had experiences with men out together before, but
yes, wholesome ones.
They were fine. So my girlfriend and I are in Austin this weekend just for a little getaway. And we went to this little like pub, and we're just sitting outside eating and having a conversation. And this random guy comes up to our table and like kneels down beside us, and like automatically like guards are up. We're both like,
yep,
what the fuck do you want?
A man is in our bubble.
Yeah. And he has this little dangly earring and like
oh, cute.
A shaved head, and like he's built well and a nice shirt. And I was like, he might be a waiter here. Like, I don't know. I was like, did you work here? And he was like, I'm so sorry to interrupt. And we both just look at him, and he's like, looking at me, and he's like, you are absolutely stunning. And then he looks at my partner, and he's like, and your swag is on 10. He literally says this. And I'm like, no gay man is going to say that. Because at first I was like, is he gay? And then I was like, no. And then we both are like, thank you. And he's like, are y'all a couple? And we're like, yeah. And he was like, well, y'all are like a model couple. And then just leaves. Right?
Okay.
So we look at each other and we're like, oh, that was like, that was a pleasant experience. Yeah. He said nice things, and then he left and didn't expect anything, and like respected the fact that we're together. So that was on a Friday night. The next night we go out to a drag show. And as I mentioned previously, they had like a male like strip show afterwards that they told everyone who came to the drag show they could stay for if we wanted to.
And it was him.
And we walk to the bar, and he comes out.
Oh, serendipity.
And he looks at us, and we look at him, and he was like, hey, are y'all here for the show? And we're like, yeah. Are you a dancer? And he was like, yeah. He was like, oh my God, I can't believe y'all are here. Like, it's such a small world. He's like, can I take a picture with y'all? And we were like, yeah, I guess. Like, I don't know what you're going to do with this, but sure. So we take a picture with him.
Spank bang.
And yeah, for sure. And then I'm just like, we're sitting down, and we're like, we ended up joining this group of bachelorettes that were there because we like made friends with them because they were bisexual. So we were like, we have to find the only other gay people in here.
Bisexual bachelorettes.
Yeah. We were like, we're going to sit with y'all. So we like sit down, and like my partner like leans over to me, and they're like, you know, he's going to like come dance on you, right? And I was like, oh, I like fully expect it. So I'm like expecting him to just like come over, give a quick dance, whatever. This man walks over shirtless. First of all, he has a lip tattoo, like a woman's lip tattoo right here on his chest. Yeah. Both of his nipples are pierced. And I'm like, he's giving bi-wife energy.
Yes.
Like, he's giving bi-wife
Absolutely.
energy. So he starts to dance on both of us. And I'm shit-faced at this point. My girlfriend is recording, screaming in the background, just like having the time of their life. And like he's dancing on both of us for like 2 minutes tops. And like he's just like going at it. And he's like bites my partner's face a little bit. Oh. And then he like comes in and is like getting really close to me. And then like the song is over. So he leaves. And we like look at each other and we're like, yeah, we knew he was going to do that. 2 songs later, he comes back. And he grabs both of my legs. He pulls my skirt down to make sure it did not like flash everyone. Yeah. And like kneels between my legs. And his face is like literally just like right here. And he's like getting up all in my space. I actually have a video of this that I can show you because my girlfriend was videoing the entire time.
I need proof.
Yeah, proof. And like he's dancing on me for a good like 2.5 minutes. And then he finally like backs up and I think he's done. And I'm like, oh my God, like this guy is like really just like juicing this experience. Milking the experience. I mean, maybe juicing.
Steroids.
And so he comes back in and he like nuzzles his face in the crook of my neck and like kisses my neck. And I'm like, oh my God, I have not been this close to a man in like 8 years. And like he ends up leaving because the song is over. And me and my girlfriend just look at each other and we're like, what the fuck just happened? We're like, she was like, you made his night. And I was like, I mean, he kind of made ours. Like, it was kind of fun.
That's amazing. I love that.
It was not super traumatic. It was like, it was more spicy than traumatic. It was just hilarious that like, what are the odds of like in all of Austin, Texas, we end up at the show that he's dancing at.
Yeah.
And he gets to make his dreams come true.
Like instant connection.
Yeah.
I love that. I love instant chemistry.
Yeah.
That's like,
it was cute.
So
I have
good.
both videos of both dances. I'll show you. You're going to love it.
And you heard it here first. Juicing is the vegan version of milking.
Oh, yeah. We don't do milk here. We juice. Why do you hate that I'm vegan so much? I think it's so cute. I think it's one of my cutest
Your personality traits.
Yeah.
Vegan. Yeah. Okay.
Anyways.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's it.
This was fun.
This was super fun.
Send us your spicy trauma.
Please.
More spicy, less trauma.
I was going to say. We're trying to keep it light, you know? We're trying to keep it fun. We're trying to keep it like something that we're not going to need a trigger warning for. More funny, less tears.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, send us yours. DM us.
Send us, if you want to like vent or like trauma dump, you can send us that too.
Please.
We just might not share things that are like extremely traumatic for the sake of our listeners' sense of purposes.
Yeah. But yeah, send us yours. But yeah, otherwise, thank you for joining us today on another episode of Trauma Bondage. Go forth, have a spicy, trauma-filled day.
Yeah, be good.
Or don't.
We won't.
We love the fuck out of you guys.
We do.
Yeah.
I love our new mics. I love not having to hold something. But then we can't cheers.
Oh, that's okay. We don't have to cheers every time.
Okay. Fine. I'm disappointed now. Okay, bye. It's so silly.
If you liked today's episode, follow us on social media at Trauma Bondage Pod. Follow Beth at Dancing Gemini and at Bethany Nicole, and Brigitte at Your Fave Femme. If voyeurism is your kink, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Trauma Bondage Podcast, and subscribe to us on Patreon at patreon.com/traumabondagepod.
We have several tiers with bonus content, access to our private Discord server, merch, and other titillating perks. If you know, you know. Production by Wolfstar.
Production assistance by Misery Cord.
Special thanks to Details by Annalise for set design, D. Dumpy for music, and Noelle's art for artwork.